Hey, get into NHL playoff betting with Sports Interaction. We got the third round on the way, baby. We got Colorado, we got Edmonton. It's going to be an exciting one. And then we'll see what happens with New York and Carolina. But either way, it's going to be an amazing Western and Eastern Conference final. Before the game starts, live in and play, or how your favorite player will perform, doing it right since 1997. It's Sports Interaction, and it's Canada's sports book with the most competitive odds. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, easy to play, and easy to cash out. Join now and see that all that sports betting has to offer. It's sportsinteraction.com/STPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/STPN. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. You barely made it through the stream yesterday.
Dude, it was terrible. Thanks for this. By the way, I really appreciate it.
What, being sick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I gave it to you. Sorry.
I don't know that for sure.
But probably.
Yeah, man. I was doing a pretty good job last night during the stream. And just fighting it off and coughing during the whistles and the TV breaks. And then at the end of the game, I couldn't finish the sentence, man. I couldn't finish the sentence. So now you could hear my node, and that's why I got this Kleenex box in front of me.
So we be blowing noses throughout the show?
Garbage can. Yeah, I'll try to do it as quietly as possible. Oh, man. Imagine me blowing this nose for Subwoofer guy. That's going to be a tough Friday.
I hope you pull off the mic when you do it. So like, listen, I woke up this morning, and I was like, we blinked, and the Oilers are down 2-0 in the series. Like, it just...
Seriously.
You know, I just, unlike game one, though, this wasn't really close. And I thought Shayna Goldberg put something really, really good together for The Athletic. She said, teams have a tendency to fall into a defensive shell when they have the lead, and the defense-only line of thinking can be too one-dimensional and really challenge an opponent. It allows a trailing team to only think about how to thread the needle offensively instead of keeping it on its heels. The Avalanche forced the Oilers into the ladder. They forced them. They scored and they kept on pushing. They scored and they kept on pushing. Even when it's 3-0, they're pushing for 4.
Oilers couldn't generate a shot. Like it was pretty even. I thought when it came to shots, when it came to chances, and those 3 goals, I think it was in 164 seconds, as CJ pointed out. I mean, that was it. That was it. And like, to me, that's the most sobering thing for Oilers fans. It's that the magic they've had all playoff long, the ability to erase 2, 3, 4 goal leads in the blink of an eye. They couldn't even get 2, 3, 4 shots.
And give you McDavid's stat line for last night.
He didn't look great.
No goal, no assist, no points, -1, 2 shots, 22-43 on the ice, and nothing else. Zeros. He said after the game, he's like, I don't think I had my best game.
No, he looked, there were some times where he looked like he was laboring.
Like anybody, I guess he's probably fighting something.
Yeah, like everybody. But I mean, another super sobering moment for Oilers fans. There was a moment where he was one-on-one with Cale Makar, and he was attacking him, and he's skating forward, fastest skater in the world, against Cale Makar, who's going backwards. Makar kept up with him, no problem, straight backed, poked the puck off his stick like it was nothing. I've never seen someone handle Connor McDavid like that. And it was that one play that sort of made me go, oh, this isn't going to be game 1. This isn't going to be game 1 at all. Jay Woodcroft juggled the lines. It did not work at all. And they really never got their groove back.
So his decision in the first period to not play McDavid and Draisaitl together, I thought was odd. Because they showed the time on ice that they've had together throughout the playoffs, throughout the Calgary series and in game 1 versus Colorado. And if you look here, it's game 1, they played 1652 together at 5-on-5. And by the end of the first period versus Colorado, they played 49 seconds together. And in every game in the Calgary series, they played at least 10 minutes together. So was he saving them for the next 2 periods? Because and then the next 2 periods went completely in the wrong direction for the Oilers.
Well, the first period was their best one.
Right. But it was the bad decision because you moved away from what worked. You won 4 out of 5 games in the Calgary series.
And almost won game
together.
1, right?
And almost won game 1.
Back.
I think he overthought it. He overthought it a little bit. I didn't think the Oilers were playing poorly. Mike Smith actually gave them a few really good saves. I didn't think he had the worst game at all, if I'm being honest. Maybe not the best, but certainly not the worst. I saw him try a line of Kane, McDavid, Hyman, and I looked at that and I said, that could work. That could work. I really like that on paper. And then I saw them out there. And I'm like, this line stinks. No. Like it didn't work at all. So listen, you're in the conference final. I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel. You're going back to Edmonton. You're going to have home ice. You're going to have last change. Go with what you know. Go with what's worked. And that's your best chance to beat Colorado.
And with Colorado throughout that game, I thought like, okay, Francouz got a shutout. That's all great, but I feel like Steve, if you were in net there, you would have had a good chance of stopping like the majority of those pucks.
No, well, maybe the majority of them. Francouz had to make some big saves.
He had to make like 3.
He had to
make like 3 saves the whole game. No, this is a credit to Colorado's defense and the game they played. They played such a tight game. There was one play that like I think encompasses what happened here. Nurse was coming down on a breakaway. Do you remember this play when Nurse had it was a 2-on-1, the 2-on-1
and the poke check.
And the poke check. But the reason the poke check was there and that Nurse was in on the goal is that the defenseman there was just like, I'm just going to take out the other guy because that's a defenseman coming up. That's Darnell and those. And to make that play in such a split second, it's great team defense by Colorado. And they played that all game long. And I think it was such an easy win for them.
Well, it was also a defenseman making a choice, for God's sake. Like that is, if you ask people, if you ask 100 people, you'll get 50 on one side, 50 on the other. You take the shooter or you take the passer. I cannot stand when I see a defenseman playing a 2-on-1 and they just sort of stand there waving their stick around. That's nothing.
Well, that's
a 2-on-0.
You're supposed
with decoration.
You're supposed to pick the puck carrier as the defenseman, or you're supposed to tie up the other guy so at least the puck carrier can be. Most of the time, you pick the other guy. Let the puck carrier and try to angle them off.
Both of those are decisions.
But you make a decision. You don't sit in the middle.
Yeah. And I think the split-second decision to not take Nurse and let Nurse and Francouz battle it out and then Nurse gets poke checked was genius.
Yeah.
It was a very nice play, and all game long they made those little plays every single time the Edmonton Oilers had the puck that it wasn't competitive.
There was a moment
dominated.
There was a moment where I thought my ability could have been compared to Francouz. And that's when he gave the puck away to Cody Ceci and it almost led to a goal.
when he was 5 feet from the net?
Dude, why? What, for the purpose of what? That was maybe the most confusing play of the game. And you brought up Nurse. He had a tough night.
He's hurting, though. That's what I got from Oilers fans.
Well, he probably is. Down Goes Brown put him on his all bad playoffs team. So his Down Goes Brown is putting together a list of like the worst performances from good players. And
these are the best players in the world. You don't even rank them by worst.
Well, I think he's doing it for fun, tongue in cheek. But it's 2 goals, 2 assists, big extension next year. He's like, well, he's got to play better. And I mean, listen, I don't know if Nurse is the guy you want to point out. I think it's team defense. Colorado had 40 shots, guys.
Yeah.
And Mike Smith allowed a goal every 10 shots. I think that's pretty fair. And I think that's fair.
And the Oilers were, it was some of the best defense I've watched in these playoffs. Every time the Oilers attacked, it seemed like they were outnumbered. They would skate into this wall of Colorado players, and then more Colorado players would come up from the back and take the puck. That was what are you guys playing with 8 dudes?
It's like getting swallowed. Right?
Yeah. And there was no room for Edmonton to get their breakaways and their rushes. They did get a small handful, like the Nurse one that was poke checked.
They're neutralized. Colorado was amazing,
and there was a great Puljujärvi chance in front. It was a fortuitous bounce. Puck squirts to him. He just completely misses the net. And I think about that. And I think about those moments and I'm like, were the Oilers as far off as I remember? And then I think about Kadri missing high and wide at least twice. McKinnon, Makar, like the Avs had so many glorious opportunities. And apart from the big saves that they made Mike Smith make, the amount of times the Avs narrowly missed a wide open net, that game should have been way farther out of hand than it was.
I want to put a little spotlight on Nazem Kadri because Leaf fans are just going crazy, going, well, we shouldn't have traded him.
Cece's in the Final Four too, guys. So is Barry.
So is Barry. Three primary assists just within a few minutes. I think one of them was, we thought it was his goal and it wasn't.
Yeah, I got tipped.
But
the Lehkonen one?
Yeah. But, and this is again Shayna Goldberg, who's fucking amazing. And she said, along with the three points, he generated 8 shot attempts in all situations. 7 were scoring chances. And with Colorado, with him on the ice, Colorado had 16-7 in terms of attempts. Like they were, and this is the thing, is that she's like, listen, that what's happening is that the Oilers are trying to match McKinnon. They're trying to match up against McKinnon, which they should. But it's leaving a ton of room for Kadri to kind of come in and not do whatever he wants, but do a heck of a lot more than he normally would get to.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, it's not uncommon for a team's best players to be neutralized in the playoffs, but everyone else has to step it up. And that's what happened for Colorado. Like, who's having a good series? At least visually, I don't know what the numbers are. JT Compher. He's all around it. He's all around everything. Nicola Aube-Kubel coming in to the lineup with the Burakovsky injuries on the third line. And replacing a dude who blocked a big shot. He blocks a big shot. Like, they're down Sam Girard. They should be more dominant than they currently are. Man. By
the way,
this is a scary team.
I'm quoting Shayna Goldman. For some reason in my mind, I had said Shayna Goldberg or something like that. So I apologize. Shayna, hey Shay. You know who I'm talking about, right?
So,
I'm a little, as you can imagine, a little
frazzled.
Yeah.
Every time you said her name, I was like, I didn't know that was her name. Because I just knew her Twitter handle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I follow her. Yeah, no,
absolutely.
Good work. Good. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What did you guys think of? I love the Francouz chant at the end of the game. That was great. Mm-hmm. But I loved even more Jared Bednar's reaction to being asked whether or not he'd start. Because if Darcy Kemper is healthy, he's the starter.
Supposedly it's his vision.
Really?
He suffered some sort of injury. He got hit in the mask or something in the first round, and he wasn't totally confident in his vision partway through game 1, so he took himself out of the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did ask him, like, if he's ready, who's going in? And he just kind of smirked and he said, no decision's been made.
I thought that was very funny.
It is.
But with Francouz, I saw some talk about his numbers. His career playoff numbers are poor. His regular season numbers were very good. And his playoff numbers this year have been so-so. But if you look at the games where he started game 2 against Nashville. It's a 2-1 win for Colorado. So it sort of made me think about what I don't think NHL.com keeps this stat, but we should really isolate goaltender statistics from games where the goalie comes in relief and games where the goalie starts, because those are enormously different situations. And Pavel Francouz, as the backup goalie, is going to have to come in relief, and those are tough situations, and you're usually already getting caved in, and your numbers probably aren't going to be very good. His starting numbers are great. You start Frankie, he's going to win you most games. He's going to probably stop the vast majority of the shots. He's not going to allow shitty ones. He's going to give you a chance to win every time he gets in there.
When we were growing up, and maybe this is just me being young and not really paying as much attention, I can't remember major goaltenders ever leaving a game, right? Like maybe Patrick Waugh once or twice, maybe Martin Brodeur, Dominic Hasek, never.
Pulls were pretty rare unless the team you cheer for had Mike Keenan behind the bench.
Right, and then you pulled everybody.
Everybody. Ed Belfour should be in the Hall of Fame twice because he put up good numbers despite getting pulled in half Mike Keenan.
If I'm ever commissioner, one of the first things I'm going to do during my first week on the job is allow goalies to take warm-up shots before they start the game.
Like 30 seconds or a minute.
Pitchers in baseball, when they come into a game, they get fucking half an hour to throw as many balls as they want at home plate. They get to warm up their arm. They're doing it in the bullpen, first of all, and then they go to the mound and they got to do it again. Give the goalie, I don't know if you want to run out a player to just take penalty shots, just a couple slap shots on him. If you have a coach behind the bench who has his stick and his skates, if you want to throw him out there, but allow the goalie to warm up before the game starts. Why is he going in cold?
I agree with that, but there needs to be a fail-safe to prevent some sort of Like I can just imagine Roger Nielsen being like, yes, that's a great idea. And then just to get infinite timeouts, he changes goalies 20 times in a game. Right?
Well, put in a rule about changing the goalie, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll put that in. Thank you. This is why we will have a committee.
Yes.
It will not just be a solo commissioner who runs it all as a dictator. We will have a little group.
I will happily be your yes man.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill Daly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be the dude who, oh man, when I show up, everyone's so stoked to see me.
Yeah, high fives.
Oh, high five.
You're always carrying donuts.
Oh man.